Hey, what's up, Nikhil? How you doing, sweetheart?
Overall, if I get stopped out on both of those trades, I'm only going to lose one of my chips. This other chip goes back into my stack. Because
So I gotta
perfect
clean up
risk
my
management won't save you from the psychological trap that destroys even trade with flawless entries and stops. So this next point is where most traders break through or break down. So lesson number 3 is emotional decision making and revenge trading. I once lost $12,000 in 20 minutes because of this one emotion. The revenge trading cycle destroyed my first, 5, 10 accounts, but the simple trick I discovered changed everything. Here's the brutal truth. Your biggest enemy isn't the market. It's the person staring back at you in the mirror. Every trader I've mentored has the same background, and you're not alone in this struggle. One bad trade leads to 10 worse ones. And you lose $500, so you $1,000 to get it back. And then you lose that, so you risk $2,000, and before you know it, you all lost into account suicide. Trust me, I've been there. It's ugly. And I'm sharing this embarrassing moment because I want you to avoid the same pain. So revenge trading really is a problem. As humans and in an industry where it's mostly male dominant, we just hate losing. We cannot take a loss and get off the screens. We want to prove to the and everybody else that we're right about a specific trade, about some specific analysis. And I can tell you from the bottom of my heart, whenever I battled the market or I wanted to prove my friends wrong on a trade idea, it always came back and burned because
razor up and a shave with a touch of aloe. Venus Extra Smooth Sun. Try Nature Made, clinically studied probiotics. Take charge.
Everyone said it would take 2 years for a master's degree in business. Everyone except WGU. Their unique online format allowed me to earn my degree in just 12 months. And more, find that.
If the peanut butter pieces could talk to the chocolate, what would it say? Should we start a podcast? Because you're rich.
Football in Mexican language. It's the national language. Eva Longoria was in town to watch her team, Club Necaxa. My commitment to Necaxa is about culture. I want to show the beauty of the Mexican people. This idea that one day you're an underdog and the next day you're building a football empire. And now, I'm
Very excited to join in and be part of your story.
The teams, the town, everything.
Nuestro español no es el mejor, pero estamos muy embarazados.
You just said you're pregnant, Rob. I really do.
Yo sé que si a Necaxa le va bien, a la población le va a ir bien.
I know our greatest days are ahead of us. It's more than winning games. Hearts. We're going to inspire pride. We're going to empower the team. That's what's at stake. And this is just the beginning.
because I took one loss on that idea and I needed to prove it to the market and myself that I'm right about this analysis. And really it just leads to spiraling losses. The biggest advice I can give you as far as revenge trading is you just need to get comfortable with losses. Unless you're comfortable with the losses, you're going to continue to revenge trade and it's going to continue to burn you. Now, another big problem with emotions is fear. And that's because you just can't accept the uncertainty that is the markets. Now, if you're a control freak, you're going to have a really, really hard time with the markets. once you place the position, once you do the analysis, once you set your stop take profit, there's absolutely nothing we can do about what that trade is going to do. It can go straight to your target, it can go sideways for a little bit, it can go straight to stop loss, but you can't control that. And that uncertainty creates fear. So part of the experience that you're going to gain as a trader, which I can't pass to you, talk about it, is how you feel when you put on a risk. Honestly, the best trades that you're ever going to have should feel effortless. You shouldn't be expending tons of mental capital trying to manage your emotions. Again, the markets are going to do what they're going to do. You cannot force them to go to your faster. So oftentimes the best thing to do is not even look at the trade once you're in. You shouldn't be trading for excitement. We're here to make money.
I gotta learn to set the fucking stop.
Do the heavy lifting. Once you're in the trade,
Once I can master that stop loss,
tell you right or wrong.
that's a
Now,
wrap,
why do so
Captain.
many traders have such a hard time with their emotions? It's because they're not treating trading like an actual business. Okay, real businesses have real businesses. They're paying vendors, they're paying their employees, maybe they're paying for inventory, and they need all these things to be profitable. And just like that, in trading, we need expenses in order to become profitable. But we need to limit those expenses. Okay, expenses get out of control, and quote-unquote losses get out of control. No longer operate our business. So when you sit down and look at your books, if you have very low expenses, you have to find a way to cut those expenses. So that means not moving losses when the trade's going against you. Maybe it's your position sizing. Maybe you're consistent for a long time and you have one day or 1 week where you over leverage and now all of a sudden massive loss on your books. If you want to find consistency, keep the position sizing proper. Make sure you're not moving your stop losses wider, and make sure you're removing risk. Trade is going in your favor. Okay, a major hack when it comes to emotions and trading is journaling. And I'm not talking about journaling just my trades. I'm talking about journaling my emotions. So it's very important once you're in the trade to write down how you actually feel. Okay, if the trade starts moving in your favor, how do I feel? If the trade starts moving against you, how do you feel? And what are the actions that you take when those emotions pop up? You have these emotional triggers, and what happened to me for a long time was when I felt fearful about a trade, and I moved my stop loss wider, right? Because I didn't want to take a loss. Or if I get super excited about a trade, maybe I scale in too heavily.
That's what I do.
Right? These are all
Yeah,
caused by my emotions.
Yeah.
So those emotional triggers, once I could figure
I'm gonna get back,
based
though.
on my journal, I stopped.
Once I get my account out the deficit,
nowadays, I
I'll
find so
bounce
much
back.
more valuable data in my
I'll
journaling
bounce
about my emotions than I do for my actual trade data itself. So this simple practice turned me from a wreck into a mechanical trader. Now, even if you master your emotions, there's still this killer that destroys accounts faster than bad entries. And most traders don't even do it, which is lesson number 4, lack of patience and discipline. The market rewards those who wait, but punishes those who chase. In my 14 years of trading, I've seen countless traders jump into trades too early or exit prematurely due to impatience. The market doesn't care about your bills, your timeline, or your need for action. It moves on a schedule. And after 14 years, I can tell you with certainty that patience is the ultimate edge. Now, overtrading will kill your account faster than bad entries. Some days there's no good setups, and that's okay. Getting paid to do nothing is still getting paid. But the best traders are comfortable with boredom. Not only do you need patience in waiting for the right, but once you're in the trade, there's nothing we can do about that trade.
Yeah,
Patiently see if the market is going to agree with us or not. And I'm sure you guys have heard before, but you don't want to destroy your account from death by 1,000 cuts. And that's essentially what I did for many, many years. So I would enter an initial trade, and maybe went against me, I would close that initial trade, enter in the opposite direction, and then I would get stopped out because it was going my initial direction. I would get back in it, and it was just back and forth, and I would take these small paper cuts. They would never be one, but they would add up over time because I just didn't have the patience to let the initial position do its thing. Right? The market's going to wiggle around. The market's not going a straight line. As much as we like to believe that it does, there's a very one-off enter and go straight to your take profit. What about the trades where you enter and then 15-minute candle maybe goes your direction, and the next 15-minute candle after that goes again? Now you're back at break even. And if you just exited or flipped by a loss on that specific trade, whereas if you just entered that first position and didn't do anything, maybe by the end of the day it's going to reach your take profit level. And this just came from real estate. I was going back through my trades, and some of my
Number
trades
one.
I had were swing trades. And so I played trade on the 4-hour time frame. But then every 15 minutes, I was changing my
Got me some broccoli and
once I was
cheese.
long, I would go short once the market went against me, and it looked like it was going to turn around, only for the market to slowly drift higher and higher towards my target. The whole time
I got
period,
pizzas over there in the water.
swing trade.
Pizzas finna get
So
right.
2 weeks,
And I'm gonna go ahead and knock
I
this
was
right
in
shut down and low
500 different
TT.
trades, taking losses on direction.
Supposed to
If I
been
just
under
placed
that,
that
but
one
you know.
position, then left it alone.
I know,
Did
right?
something else with my life. Went outside, touched grass, went to the beach, did anything other than stare at the chart. I would be a profitable trader. And every profitable trader I know has mastered the art of doing nothing. Now, your trade exits. Okay, everyone is to hold your winners and cut your losers, but most people do the opposite. We're wired to take small profits because it feels good, and then hold on to losses, hoping they're going to turn around.
I bet you ain't raised that before, though.
So big winners are rare. So when you get one,
Check
you
'em
need to
out.
make sure you let it run. Now I have this very simple rule. If I enter a trade where my stop loss is 1R, I'm targeting 3R, I do absolutely nothing
Do I know
to that
if it
trade
will work?
unless it's up 1R.
I don't
If
know
it's
if
trading
it'll work.
towards my stop loss,
Do I really
because I
want to
have
try
had
it really
trades where
badly?
it's gotten very, very close to
I
my
do.
stop loss, turn around and hit full TP. But that's because I am so comfortable with the risk that I put
Only live once,
and
right?
the exit that I'm trying to plan. So when it comes to my exit, I tend to do nothing. If it's under 1R profit, let's say if you enter a trade and it's up half an R, I don't do anything because I need to be able to let those winners pay for the losers. If you are not maximizing
Yeah.
trade where you're getting 2, 3R, 4R multiples, okay, so your average
No, I don't feel. I didn't
let's say
feel
one.
like making the mac
Your
and
average
cheese
loss is
again.
$100. Your average
So,
win, however, should be
instead, I'm just
200,
going
300,
to
400, $500. As you guys can see here, this is my
I'm
record over
just
the past week.
bust this up
All my
there.
losses are extremely small, yet all my winners are a large multiple of that. So if I go on a losing streak, I could lose 5, 10 trades in a row, and I would still be up. Even the most patient, disciplined trader can still fail because of these mental barriers that most people don't even know exist. And I'm about to show you how to overcome them. Now, if you're serious about putting all this together into a complete system, I have something special for you. The Trader is my comprehensive mentorship where I show you exactly how to apply these principles on live funded accounts. You get the strategy, the psychology, coaching, live trading, and direct access to me. This isn't theory, it's the exact system I use to trade millions in profit capital. My students are getting funded and making consistent withdrawals using these methods.
It's gonna be kind of something like a little sweet and spicy, except with instead of sugar. Is that a thing? I don't know. I'm not a foodie.
I didn't want to be seen as somebody who smoked,
That's what the
so I hid, I
right
hid my
now.
smoking when I worked with my tribe. I didn't talk about it with my doctor. I ate right, I exercised, I didn't want to be exposed. Here's my tip. When you're having open heart surgery, you can't hide the damn smoking. Everyone in the room.
So I just got like pasta, cheese, broccoli, and then fruit thing on it.
Now to 333-888.
Americans, we can do anything we want, except we just can't stop being American. Nothing stops America, and nothing stops Ram.
It's not for everyone, but if you're ready to stop making these mistakes and start getting consistent results, check it out in the description. But first, let me show you the mental barriers that trip up even the most disciplined traders. Lesson number 5, mental barriers and external distractions. Trading while working a 9 to 5 nearly destroyed my marriage. The mental barrier separates profitable traders from everyone else. And I used to check charts during meetings, for bathroom stalls, and argue with my wife about missing the move. It was chaos disguised as dedication. Now, I'm sharing this embarrassing truth because I want you to learn from my mistakes and not repeat them. Some traders have a focus problem. So now I have specific trading hours where I'm 100% focused. No phone calls, no emails, no distractions. And working a 9 to 5 job, that is very, very difficult to do. You're distracted by all these different things going on, and it's very hard to put your attention and focus into trading. It requires almost 100% of your attention at times, or at least that's what I thought. So unless you that's a full-time trader, this idea that we need to be glued in front of the charts hours a day in order to become a full-time trader, that is just not true whatsoever. When I'm talking about focus, is I'm only talking about for a very specific amount. So when you sit down and do your analysis at night, you need 100% focus. And then when it comes time to execute, that's where you need focus as well. But once you're in the trade and you've set your orders, you have your entry, you have your stop loss, you have your take profit, there's really not much else you can do. You have to let the trade do what it's going to do. And I thought that putting more focus into those specific trades would give me results. But in fact, the opposite. I was more distracted at work, I was more distracted on the charts, and I was not making proper decisions. So as you can imagine, when you're working a regular job and you're putting all this extra effort into the markets, it does not give you better results. And I only noticed this when I sat down and took a good hard look at what gave me results trading. Some of the best trades that I had was when I set my trade and okay, so many traders out there have a focus problem where they're putting too much on the markets. Outside of your analysis and your execution, you really can't do anything. So what allowed me to leave my job initially was focusing on the style of trading that my current lifestyle, because I could not be in front of the charts all the time. I had meetings. I could not focus on intraday entries and exits, so I went to swing trading. And I only needed to check my charts once every 4 hours. Now, with swing trading, it just gives you so much more time to make decisions. If you're swing trading, but then you're looking at the 5-minute or the charts, you're doing it completely wrong. Place the trade on a 4-hour time frame, and don't look at it again for 4 hours. Maybe don't even look at it again for another 8 hours. So if you go through your data and you look at your trade, if you place a 4-hour trade, you have to study how long it's going to take for that trade to pan out. It might take 16, 20, 24, 30 hours plus before it starts really moving in your favor. So you don't need to quit your job to trade successfully. And my most profitable students trade probably 90 minutes. They have systems, they're not gambling habits, and they plan their trades and they trade their plans. Now, pre-market rituals. I spend 15 minutes almost every morning meditating and going over my plan, checking my emotional state, and settling my intention. So this simple routine has prevented countless emotional trades because I'm aware of doing every single
what
day.
you know about this
After
right
14 years, I can tell you that preparation beats talent every single time. Now, those are the 5 core mistakes, but there are 3 advanced traps that even experienced traders fall into. And the first one will shock you because it happens after you think you made it. All right, the first trap is the funding trap. Getting funded is easy, but getting funded is where the real battle is. Now, I know it's so easy to get excited about passing a funded account, put it on this pedestal, without realizing like the real battle once you get that funded account. You're so focused on the payout rules, the consistency rules, drawdown rules, all the news rules, that you lose sight of how to actually do it properly. And what I see what happens with a lot of traders is they get extremely impatient. They want to hit the payout window as soon as it's available. So they force setups, they trade, they oversize, and it just ends in a blown up account. Now, this is really where prop firms make all their money, is because all these retail traders, they don't have patience to be able to trade for extended periods of time without getting paid. You guys have this specific timeline of, I'm going to get funded and get paid out in 1 or 2 weeks. But the real way of looking at this is, how do I keep the account long enough, and how do I scale my capital? So maybe it's a money thing. If you have a 100K account and you're making $2,000, and you're not realizing like, hey, this money isn't really changing my life a whole lot, you need to realize like scaling your capital to a certain where making that $1,000 or $2,000 across 5, 6, 7, 8 accounts is now changing your lifestyle. So just think of it like this: it's all the numbers and percentages. If you can make 1% on a 100K account, imagine what that 1% is going to look like when you're managing 500K or $1 million in funded capital. You're making to 10 times as much with the same exact trades. So you need to be able to protect your accounts and scale the capital. If you're consistently blowing up your accounts, you can never scale the capital properly. Funded accounts are precious, so treat them like the rare opportunity that they are. You don't want to have to blow up your account and go through the long, drawn-out process of getting funded, because during that evaluation phase, you are not making any money. And the time that it takes to get funded, you could have been making real money if you had just kept the funded account. But before you get funded, one trap that keeps traders broke and searching forever, and it nearly cost me almost $50,000. And that is the information overload problem. So every trader out there, at least the ones that haven't consistently made it yet and realize this, is that more information doesn't equal more profit. Everyone thinks that they can go out there and find this one holy grail concept or strategy that's going to give them 100% confidence and profitability in the market. That's just not the case. So it leads you to constantly looking for new things and tweaking your strategy, and you never get comfortable with one specific system. You're always adding new things. And what you don't realize is adding new things to your system does not change the probability of the next trade that you take. It has the same probability. So just as an example, I don't know Elliott Wave personally, but even if I were to learn it, if I placed a trade right now, it still has the same probability as if I didn't know. If I come to the same conclusion with Elliott Wave or without it, the market's either going to go up, down, or sideways. Something more is not going to change the outcome of it. And what you need to get comfortable with is, no matter how much knowledge of a specific market or a specific strategy that you have, you're going to have losing trades. There's absolutely nothing out there that is going to give you a 100% strike rate. And what I found was the biggest things that had an impact on my overall profitability was not the strategy and it wasn't new concepts. It was mastering risk management, getting better trade management, and getting better at my emotional awareness. If you can master those three things, I guarantee that you can take an average strategy and make it excellent. And a huge misconception that most people think when they go full-time or they're a consistently profitable trader is that if they more and more hours into the charts and into the markets, that they're going to become more and more profitable. The only thing that's going to happen from that situation is you're going to burn out faster, you're going to have less mental, and you're going to make worse decisions because you're tired. And the whole point of getting into trading in the first place is so we can get our time freedom back. We don't want to just have another 9-to-5 desk job. What you're going to realize at some point is that you don't need to spend a whole lot of time in front of the markets and in front of the charts. And in fact, the less time I need to spend in front of the charts to make my for the week, the better. So just remember that your time is limited. It's a scarce resource, so you need to stop consuming and just start executing.
Hey, Beth, what you know about this right here?
Traders to avoid all the others. It's the math that's going to help you no matter how smart you think you are. So think you have 10 winning trades in a row and still be unprofitable. And I've seen tons of examples of this in my community and online, where traders have 2 to 3 or 4 weeks of consistent profits, and then 1 to 2 bad days, bad weeks, they give back all of the profits. You guys need to realize that trading is very simple. You're going to go on cold streaks, you're going to go on hot streaks. And it's about minimizing the days during those cold streaks. It's about accepting the probabilities of the market. With the profit to reward, you only need to have a 35 to 40% win rate to be profitable. Now, if that makes you uncomfortable and you're uncomfortable losing that many trades, maybe trading is not for you. The key thing is that you're not consistent with your trade freedom or your trade sizing, which is holding you back. You need to be able to have the winners pay for the losers, and you're going to have losers. So if I can aim for a 3 or 4 on a consistent basis, think about how many losing trades I can take in a row. Let's say if I have 2 in a row, I would have to lose 6, maybe 8 trades in a row just to break even. Now, when I'm always thinking about this math, it allows me to hold my trades for longer, because I know if I consistently cut my trades at a 1R, less than a 1R, maybe even a 1.5R, I know over time, if I go on a losing streak, my P&L is going to be negative. And you're only going to realize this when you start a really good account of your trading books. So just understand that you need to put your ego aside and realize that you're going to be wrong, and you're going to be wrong a lot during your trading career. Almost 50 to 60% of the time, I'm wrong. But I'm able to accept that and maybe take a small loss or a pay cut. Instead of winding my stop, taking a large loss, or over trading, I think I'm going to be right. With these 8 lessons, you now have 14 years of hard-earned wisdom in 30 minutes. But knowing these mistakes isn't enough. You need a proven system to. That's exactly what I'm sharing in my complete ICT strategy video. You guys can check it right here. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Got safety calls? Granger has the Safety Pros 2 call. Shop our vast inventory of safety products at Granger.com. Call, click, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Traders lose money in the market because they fail to identify when the power is shifting. buyers and sellers or between buyers. If you can identify this trade item, it will make you so much money and relieve you of a lot of stress.
Check it out. Check it out.
I'm gonna is walk you through a real-time chart of a company at different times of power shift. This cycle is repeated
The broken bring it back to life.
no matter what the company is, no matter what chart.
We don't even need no shrimp. We don't need no shrimp.
Daily, monthly, this happens time and
Mhm.
again. This
Mhm.
better trader, technical trader, supportly me. This is what a Wall Street Trapper. Listen, back to Trapper. Charts,
I know.
like,
Good.
subscribe to share this video out, man. Learn something. Make sure you
Broken tastes good, man.
Alright, man, so listen, what I need you to do before we get into this video is you to watch me do it on here and try to go along with me. What I really want you to do is, while you're watching it on your screen, I want you to go pull out your computer. It really helps when I walk you through it and you see it on your screen trying to teach me. I'm telling you, this is helping me out so much. Somebody's teaching me something, I like to personally, it's like they walking me through it while they see it instead of me watching it just on the screen. So I want you to get your computer, get your tablet, go to Spotify, go to the daily chart, right? And we're gonna walk through this thing together. You're gonna see it, I'm gonna call out price points so you can see it, show you candles so you can see it, and you're gonna have the aha moment, I promise you. The better you get at command candle communication, market structure, supply and demand, change of character and break of structure, it will truly change and how you see charts. Let's get to it, man. All right. So we are looking at Spotify, ticker symbol SPOT. Right? This is an amazing company.
So why that cook best?
A lot of green on it. Right? So this stock has been on a hell of a run this year. Right now, it is having some minor pullbacks. I think that it has now changed. We're going to show what that is. But it doesn't mean that the uptrend will not persist. It just means right now, bears are taking over. Now, here's what we understand about the market. The market is a daily battle between buyers and sellers. Then between that battle, you're going to have what's called trends, right? T-R-E-N.
It's just so
No.
good,
On trends, we know that the market goes how many ways?
It's just so good, girl.
Does this up, which means create higher highs and higher lows, which means the price has went up. In case you don't know, this may be $69, this may be $4, this may be $79, this may be $80, and then this may be $87. And these are lows. So this may be 70, this may be 73, this may be 77, this may be 81, this may be, and it stopped right there at the high. So that means now in between this could be candles. This is not one candle. I see when people show this, they don't show you that this is multiple candles going different. Right? This is candles coming here. Right? Right? What I like to do is look at the market as a wave. Right? Instead of the little currents that's going through, I like to look at it as waves. Now, also, that's one way. This is a trend. Then you see the market does this. Bam, 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 bam. So now we have lower highs and what?
Ooh, they can rate that.
Lower low. Is that thing here? Right? And this is going to be called a balance. And then you have this market. Now, the thing about this market is it is a sideways market known as ranging. Meaning it's not going anywhere, or it's called consolidation. This market here can be real tricky, and I'm going to tell you why. Because this can be consolidation, but also this can be consolidation. So This is called consolidation, and this is called why consolidation.
All I wanted to do was help kids and families. Bank of America was just so important with getting things started. I feel we are growing together with Bank of America.
That opportunity to move to the Bank of America. And that's what lists for me. So what would you like the power to do? Bank of America. Contact one of our local banks. So YouTube, listen, family, I got a jam-packed video for you. Class will be in today. The market kicks off a new month. The market likes to go down, setting up the move for September. And then we recover October, November, December. I don't want you to panic. I want you to have the information so you can know how to handle it. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you what Coach did, and I'll do this every August and September because I'm already anticipating it. And I want you guys to keep your power ready for the recovery after this is over. Okay, make sure you like, subscribe. You'll get at least 1,000 likes. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into it. Guys, I'm jumping into the lesson that I'm going to illustrate for you from the chart. Everybody look at my play for the day. I love to take you guys under the hood. So when I talk about being surgical and a sniper, you see what I'm talking about and where I'm coming from. Everybody check this out. Okay. I called this out in Discord this morning. Matter of fact, let's go to Discord and just look at this. Okay. Check this out, guys. I said it's already down big at 305 and looking to fall to 300 to 298. Look at that last line. Looking to fall at 300 to 298. Now let's get back in here and look at this, guys. Check this out. And 30, this was 305. 934, it fell to 300/298. Check this out, guys. 4 minutes. I want you to see, I'm not holding for a break even. I'm not holding for all day in the market. Friday sets the standard. I was in and out. I stuck to the thesis I put out there every single day. If it goes up or down, all I simply do is say, okay, what we do. Once I saw the negative news from Trump, the tariff, back started up again. I already knew the sentiment was down. So that already come out the gate doing puts. You don't have to be in it all day. If you boom boom candle, guys, this is what happens. You make $11,000 in 4 minutes. Let me know any job in America that is doing that. I could have been for the day. But you guys know my claim to fame is being a rinse and recycle. So I pulled my arsenal back out. I pulled my arsenal back out. I got situated, and they showed the same exact setup. They showed it at 9 o'clock. They showed it again at 1:56. The same one they showed at 9:30. They showed it again at 1:56. So I already knew what was happening. Look at this. I got in at 1:56. That's when I submitted my buy. I sold. That's when my order was filled at 2:13. Somebody let me know how much time that was. Look at this, another $10,000 in just a short amount of time. Now, go ahead and take a look at the chart just so you can see it play out in real time. Tesla, guys, and I wrote it out for you. One, do you see all the indicators headed down? So that already told you we were headed down. This morning, everybody look at the B. The B is where Coach bought at 9:30. Okay, the S is where I sold at. Okay, 4 minutes in and out. It wasn't
day. I wasn't dilly-dallying around. I didn't wait and see could I make more money. I stuck to my thesis. I stuck to my game plan. I was in, I was out. Okay? I wanted to kick this off with showing you guys, all right? I want to take you to a few things, okay? Look at the spot.
Boy,
I started smoking menthol cigarettes.
you got to put you gotta get some skin in the game. You ain't got no skin in the game, you be sick. You know what I'm right. But one thing you gonna be able to be like, man. Now I know what everybody talking about. So now you can join there, you can join this. You don't take you no L. You might have to take off for a week. I had to take off for a week. I ain't eating and all. That's my pride. I don't feel like being bothered. I ain't never do that kind of money before. Not that fast. Yeah. I was a big problem. So I had to take off. My mental back right and shit. Yeah, I know what you got going on. Get back in the thing. Get back in the thing.
It's target. It's not for you to panic. It's for you to either say, okay, coach, you taught us how to buy puts. You taught us how to make money in both directions. If we go down, we're going to 613.28. So if Monday it gaps down to say 619 and it's already going down, you need to know it's just coming to test the 613.28. Okay? If that holds, we're going to bounce like a trampoline and go back higher. So if this, then that. If we get to 613.28 and it don't hold, you need to know we're going to close that at 600. Okay? I need you guys to understand trading with a plan. None of this should make you panic. I'm going to talk about the nature over the weekend because none of this should make you panic. That play might be your best play ever. The more it go down, the more you buy. If this goes, the more we're going to buy. We're going to have our power together and anticipating their recovery to end out the year. But if you want to buy, make money like me, you guys saw a quick $20,000 in 4 minutes. If you want to do that, I'm already showing you the level. 621 is going to fall to 613. If you happen to catch that move when we get down on Monday, that will change your life. I always say just $5, $8 from here. Okay? If you catch the final move, which if we do have another August and September that does what it historically does, everybody look at C588. That is how low we are going to go. That is where we will bring out the big guns. I will go call up the Brinks truck. This is how you make $1 million in 3 months. This is how you make 100K a year. Because then we will be buying long calls, knowing without shadow of a doubt it's going to run all the way back up here to the top to 6 all-time highs. Okay, so don't panic because August and September go down. Hopefully you've been hearing my messages all year. Guys, we're going to do our just know in August and September the market was going to come down. They didn't waste no time bringing it down. Coach was already ready. I chose to play Tesla to the side, but any stock could have did it because every stock went down today. It does this every August and September. But you know that's understood, okay? Check this. A few people I'm extremely happy with. Stephen Rex. He said, Chris, the month of July has been a huge month for me. I follow your words to the T. I was able to capitalize on a massive dip. Let's go. In the spot this morning, top off a very successful month. Guys, he is up over 300%. That kind of stuff can change your life, guys. You're not going to get 300% no, not in the bank, not in the CD, not in the money market account. Guys, you can't give your way to wealth. You have to be in the stock market. Stephen Rex is showing you guys how it's done. He made money in poker and he got absolutely busy with the SPY. Just like I did for Tesla, I laid these levels out for the SPY too. Matter of fact, look at this. For SPY, I said it gapped down to 625. Look to fall to 622. Guys, it went to these numbers to 18. And I said, if you're not comfortable with puts, look for calls at 622, 619. Okay, it went right to 619 and ran up to 6. You could have made money, but if not, you could have made a killing like Stephen did on the way down, all the way to 619, 618 before it popped back up. Okay, again, everybody get in the Discord. I call these things out consistently every single day. I don't care where the market goes. I want you to have a game plan. If it's an up day, Coach has already provided you the levels for where it's going to go. If it's a down day, I've already told you where it's going to hit 218. You don't have to guess. You don't have to scratch your head and wonder, I do this, but I do it for you guys so y'all can be so you can build your confidence and so also you can know what's possible, okay? So wherever the road takes you, Chevy is ready to drive you forward with pure power unleashed and future forward technology. Every path leads to new possibilities. Chevrolet, let's drive. Don't move. Make a sound.
Amanda, I don't like this. Why would I return to a country where I was convicted of murder? Because in order to move forward, I need to go back. In 2007, I was halfway around studying abroad in Italy. I had no idea that my dream was about to become a nightmare. Oh my God. La conclusione è che I need to go to Las Vegas, but I need to wear right now. Attention, Indiana. Why are you going after a door? For 15 years, I've been defined by something that I didn't do. Many people think they know my story. But now, finally, it's my time to tell it.
These things were here for the taking. Same with Tesla. I said Tesla already down big at 305. It's going too far to 300. Everybody go look at it. You see that it go to 298 today. Okay, 300, 298. Go. I do this early in the morning. The market ain't did nothing yet, and I send this. Okay, I send it out at 9, but I already be crafting this up early in the morning. Like, okay, this is what's going on. So all I gotta do is just sit around and wait for the market to open so I can execute my game plan. Okay, and that's how I'm doing the 30,000 a day. I tell you guys this all the time, but I'm showing you 10,000 in 4 minutes, another 11,000 in 15 minutes. And I'm trying to show you guys how it's done. And so, Steven, I want to say major salute. Good, 107 in a day, 15 minutes in and out, coach. I told her, let's go, Pam. I love when you guys are in sniper mode. You don't have to be in your plays all day. Have a number like me. A minimum of 10,000 a day. I try to go for 40,000 a day. I'm talking about, guys. Okay, so I'm not in there. If I hit and I don't see a setup, I hit my minimum target. I don't have to go back in. Today was an example. Friday sets the standard, and they try to do pattern twice. You can't show coach the same thing twice. I am going to pounce, okay? And so I saw what they were doing. I'm like, oh, okay, I see what y'all doing. Y'all want to play around? Y'all playing with me? Okay, cool. I'm going to put another 100 contracts on your head and wide open, okay? So that's all that was. Listen, guys, embrace the or I don't want to say sit out in a negative way, but just let the stock come down. Not panic about any plays you got. I can let you know with certainty. It's gonna all come back up and go higher. You gotta just know August and September the market goes down. If you're not gonna buy puts with coach, I'm gonna make 100K, make half of that today. I'm gonna make more than that, but just to keep it simple, I'm gonna make 100 on all the down days. But I'm really looking for the market to turn back around because we're gonna go right back to new all-time highs in October, November, December. Does that make sense? So embrace it, guys. And if you don't like doing push, you can sell calls. You can do other things, okay? And you can always buy VXX. You can always buy SQQQ. You can always buy TSS if you want to take advantage of the plays when they're going down, but it looks like it's a call for you. Listen, guys, we're going to get make videos like this every day. So if you like this one, make sure you check out the next one. Remember, most of you can consider the journey. Do me a favor. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel. Grab some free stuff. Choose my link below. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Charlton, please make noise for John Johnson!
I was talking to one of my friends, and he said that he knew the first thing he knew his like neighborhood was broke was when the bank closed. The bank holds that branch's money, and that branch is falling off. And said he went to the bank, and he basically just straight up asked the teller, he's like, "Hey, do you know why this branch is closing?" And she was like, "Are you here to make a deposit or withdrawal?" And he was like, "Oh, withdrawal." And she was like, "Yeah, that's why. That's in a nutshell. That's exactly what's happening. You do enough of that, and then we're just kind of a building with a little bit of parking." I don't know. I look back at the ups and downs I've had in my life. I've been like broke off and on my entire life, and there's a weird solace sometimes in being broke at the right time. Everyone thinks that the security means and having money, but sometimes not being a part of the circus is its own solace in a weird way. You know that it's bad when you're really shopping at the dollar store. There are things anybody could get at the dollar store. You need a fly swatter, might as well run to the dollar store. You know what I mean? You need like a dustpan, might as well run to the dollar store. But if you're really shopping at the dollar store, things are not great. I would go in the dollar store for stuff you shouldn't be buying from the dollar store. They sell it, but even the cashier look at you like, "You sure?" I'm talking about your meat at the dollar store. I knew I was in a bad situation when I went to the dollar store and was looking at that meat in the fridge, and I was like, because the meat at the dollar store, they don't go into specifics. You go to Kroger, Walmart, you go to Target, you go to any of these places, and you'll see the brand of the meat, and you'll see, all of the little no preservatives ever, completely organic. all the stuff. When you go to the dollar store, like me, it just says the price and it says me. And if I don't ask any questions, it could be whatever I think it is. Because then, I also got a lot of stuff at the dollar store, even as a kid, that I look back and I'm like, that probably wasn't the best. Like a good example, you know, when you shop at the dollar store, especially if you got toys at the dollar store, you know the dollar store toys are in a very specific, slightly copyright infringed arena of toy. You know, like you would have a G.I. Joe, but it doesn't say G.I. Joe. It just says soldier. And you buy a soldier and it even got the setup like a G.I. Joe, like it stands like a G.I. Joe, but the legs a little too short. So some very long arms. I couldn't tell if the arms were long or the legs were short. It doesn't have like grip action. It says that on the front, grip action. A hole, they didn't make a hand. They made a hole stub. And then this hole stub is what you go ahead and put the little toy gun through. But then they didn't really measure the gun versus the hand. And so the gun is not in proportion at all. It looked like this would blow his arm off if he tried to shoot it. But you bring it home and you're playing with it, and you're like, yeah, soldier, get him. It's like, I'm to get him. Oh, I'm to get him. They get him now. Trust me. I get that. Look, point over here. No, it was very bad. It was horrible. You have, store crayons. That's another one. It's a very specific type of drawing as a kid. Because those dollar store crayons melt in your hand. So you got to be quick with it. You got some imagination that needs to come out now. You got to put those crayons in the fridge. I remember being around some of these crayon kids being like, your crayon's stale as hell. Y'all don't even freshen up crayons. That's crazy. That's why your pictures stink. You know what I mean? My pictures smell like leftovers. I remember one of my favorite toys from the dollar store was like a stretch Armstrong, right? It was stretch Armstrong. It would only stretch for like 3 days. You only got 3 good. After that, it would get hard. And if you try to stretch it after it got hard, it would cut your finger open. I don't know what it was made of. It was the most valuable, unvaluable thing. It was Play-Doh and Mantium together. No, it was crazy. And that's the thing too, is when you're growing up in this situation. For anyone who knows what I'm talking about from experience, then you also know that it's very hard to know that you're broke. Especially if you're a kid. It's hard to know if you are surrounded by love. My family loved me so much. So much. They still do. I make it sound like that. Make it sound like those are falling out. They still love me. But I'm surrounded by love. I had my grandparents. I had my mom, my dad's love. I had my aunt, my uncle's love. I had my cousin. I had so much love around me. When you're surrounded by that much love, you don't know that you don't have money when you have that much love until you have both. That is a curious experience. Like when you're like, well, you got both parents and a pool, okay? I think there can be upgrades to life. I see that now. To me, greed is a paradox because you have everything. Even if you have more than enough, even if you have so much that what you have is starting to hurt you in the long run. You see it with the way that hedge funds cannibalize whole companies. It's like, okay, everybody made some profit, but now this thing that people used to love doesn't exist. You know? Like you take like a Southwest. You know, Southwest, people used to love Southwest. Bags fly free, affordable tickets. You just sit where you don't have to wait for the person. Southwest used to be so fire because then you don't have to wait for the person to get to their seat. You don't have to get up for anybody. Do you know what it's like to just be in your seat on the plane? And it's everyone's almost here. There's a couple of stragglers. There's almost nobody coming down that anymore. You don't even settle in. You're like, oh, I may not have a seat next to me. There's everything excited. You get so comfortable, you're like, I might put my other leg over here. Southwest had a brilliant idea. And the bags were flying for free. Which makes sense. The bags don't going. Why should I have to pay back to have an experience too? And then greed, and then private equity, and hedge funds, and then, shareholder meetings, and then all the things start to creep in. It's like, maybe we'll stop doing the thing that is why everyone likes us. Maybe we'll do the other airlines, they make money, but then you actually look at the people who fly, and they're like, oh, y'all.
Bird strikes. Get fast relief with tunnels. You can enjoy it from lungs.
Airwick's vibrant fragrances are infused with 2 times more essential oil. The advanced plug-in with the boost button and technology can keep your home always inviting for up to 60 days. Always fragrant, always inviting.
Don't just take classes, take courage. Start your comeback today at reviewglobal.edu.
Wherever the road takes you, Chevy's ready to drive you forward. With power unleashed and future-forward technology, every path to new possibilities. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Ready-to-eat meal delivery services are not created as backers. Everything is done from scratch. Nutrition and flavor is first and foremost in the creation. Sign up for Packer today. 50% off your first box at PackerMeals.com.
I put some
Y'all aren't nice enough to be like your seat doesn't even go back like that. What I pay for everything here that I pay for over there, that's crazy. And so you see people plummet, because they're making decisions based on money. Not money that they need, just more money that they might be able to get. And there's only so much that a business can do. I understand a startup's passion, and that passion makes sense because the company just started. But after a while, it's like, do you really need to own everything? If the answer is yes, it's like, and they don't say it to us. They say it to each other.
Mm-hmm.
You ever get a hold of a recording of a closed door? And the way they talk about their own customers, that's why greed is like a paradox. When you're so greedy that then you end up cannibalizing the company, your own efforts, yourself. You end up hurting yourself. American greed is another paradox because as much as we know that the millionaires and billionaires maybe got their way, it's a little nasty. We also kind of want to be them a little bit. Everybody wants their piece, but we know how bad it is. There are people who I know who want to be billionaires. They aspire to be billionaires. Ask them to name like a good billionaire. It's a hard quiz. They want to be the billionaires. They're like, no, be different. That to me is like a drug dealer saying, no, I'm gonna be different. Oh, I'll only like sell drugs to bad people. How will you know that they're bad people? Get around and they'll buy my drugs and I'll be like, that's a bad guy. No, it's not going to be different just because it's you. That's the trick. No, it's different when I do it. It's different when it's for me. It's different when it's for my family. Right? So maybe people talk about a recession. That recession is coming. Recession is looming. And to be, people have said that since the last recession. Every year, I'm not an economist, but every year there's somebody that's like, it's coming. Get ready. Back down the hatches. And so you're in this situation where, people are very worried, and understandably so. Because it's not really about the money. Money is mostly the conduit. Money's mostly the placeholder. There are people who find money to get game, and for them, the number is the important thing. How much actual money they can stack and hoard is the real thing. I want to show how rich I am is the real thing. But for almost everybody else, it's about the survival. It's about taking care of yourself. It's about taking care of the people that you love. So when they hear that there's going to be a recession, they're not really thinking about the number will go down. They're thinking about food. They're thinking housing. They're thinking about resources. And the only way forward is with other people. We've proven that this thing doesn't work. And by this thing, I'm not just talking about like one specific system. I'm talking about like capitalism. I'm not talking about anything like that. I'm talking about we've proven that a rat race does not work. I can't believe the world watched Squid Game and was like, yeah, I think I the pot. The pot problem. And then I think the other problem is that if you are pitted against people, if you're pitted against the other 330 so million Americans, then yeah, the odds look insurmountable. But when you see how many people are actually in your situation, and you see how many millions of people are just like you, and you put yourself on the same side as them, all of the way, it gets a little bit easier. There are people around the world that will never have access to the things that we have access to that make it work. So sometimes we stress, oh, how am I going to make it work? And it's like the number one way is through community. Your future is your neighbor. No, there's no other way forward. I know that can be scary. That's an idea where you have to lay down much trust at the feet of people that you don't know. That's very scary because I've had good neighbors and I've had bad neighbors. I've had very bad neighbors. I had a neighbor who stole my trash can. It's the trash can. You could put your trash in there too. Stole my trash can and lived next to me like I'm not gonna notice the trash can. And he was big too, and I'm pretty sure he sold drugs, so I wasn't gonna get my trash can back. But I was like, I will put my trash in my trash can over here though. Just because you stole the trash can doesn't mean I'm gonna get another trash can. This trash can. Trash goes in. You can put your trash over here, but then you want to put it in front of your yard. Okay, fine. Whatever. I'm sure you have a gun, so I won't make a big deal of it. But I've had bad neighbors, and I've also had incredibly kind, incredibly neighbors. I had neighbors that made any transition period I've been having in my life easier. I remember when I moved to Chicago, I was living in my first apartment. I had a neighbor that knocked on my door.